As soon as the EOS R5C was announced, everybody and their mother was complaining about the missing IBIS. I actually never thought that was a big deal. I actually prefer not having the IBIS because I always thought that not being able to turn the IBIS off or just having it enabled just kind of ruins your image a lot. Sometimes it's helpful, most of the times it's not. So now I want to put them to the test. I want to put the EOS C70 against the R5. IBIS versus no IBIS in basically the worst conditions that we could film in, because we're currently in Switzerland. We're filming a short documentary. Walking here, handheld, no stabilization, on snow, which is really hard to keep stable. I want to know what the C70 can do against the EOS R5 and the IBIS. My name is Damien Cooper and welcome to Market Pixels. Here we have the C70 with a speed boost and a Canon 16-35, non-stabilized of course, and on the EOS R5 we do have the 24-70. So we put both these lenses to 24mm. I'm going to follow her, just walking behind her, and that's pretty much it, and then we'll look at the results. Well, are you ready?
Just walking straight.
Just walking straight. I think I'm recording. Yes, I'm recording. And go. It's really hard to walk on snow. I don't know, I can't see anything. Okay, same setting on the Canon C70. I'm using the top handle because that makes the whole thing a little bit easier. Setting the camera to 50 frames, 25 frames, sorry, and go. Okay, can't really tell the difference now. Let's do another test. Let's do something where I'm filming on eye level, walking backwards. So even harder now.
Of course.
Huh? Yes, of course. And go. Same thing with the R5 and go. So now let's do the third and final setup, and that is me shooting some kind of B-roll model shoot, which I do a lot, handheld, and I'm going to move in any kind of direction. She's playing with the camera, and now we see if that makes a difference on a C70 versus the EOS R5. And go. Okay, cut. Something like this I would usually film in 50 frames, and that makes it a lot more stable too. But for the purpose of this video I filmed everything in 25 frames, and that makes the whole stabilization issue even a little bit more spicy. Now we do the model thing. Shit. And go. And cut. I have no idea if this is even remotely correctly exposed. And I also don't know what the difference is, but we will see when I'm back in Vienna in the studio. So I will see you there. Okay, back in Vienna where it's nice, cozy and warm, or at least a little warmer than it was in Switzerland, which isn't really hard to beat. I finally had a chance to look at the footage and give you my opinion. And looking at the footage, I realized that walking in snow was way too extreme for this test, because it's really hard to get stable footage while walking in the snow. But, well, let's look at the footage and give you my opinion anyway. Looking at our first scenario, where I was following Belle, the C70 footage is really shaky and you can tell, and I don't really like it that much. But then again, looking at the EOS R5 footage, it's definitely a lot smoother, but you do get a lot of that IBIS wobbles on either side of her, and that also looks horrible because you get seasick looking at it and it also looks very unprofessional. Stabilizing the C70 footage in post, we get a similar result as we did on the IBIS R5 in camera. We do introduce a lot of this wobble. Of course, it's post-production, so we can just dial it down a little bit if we want to, and then just kind of get the results that looks the most satisfying. But not gonna lie, neither of these look great. In our next scenario where Belle was posing in front of the camera, this is actually way better because now I didn't have to move on the snow as much and I only had to move the camera. So here I'm actually kind of satisfied with the results on both cameras. I didn't really see that much image wobble on the IBIS R5, and I also didn't think that the C70 was too shaky. For our second scenario, I would probably just call it a tie. Looking at our last and most extreme test, and that was me walking backwards in the snow filming Belle, neither of the footage looks great. The C70 is way too shaky, whereas the IBIS R5 has way too much of that IBIS wobble. In reality, neither of these look great, and if I had the chance, I would just scratch them and not use them, and definitely not deliver them to a client because it just looks unprofessional. Way too shaky or way too much wobble. Even trying to stabilize the C70 footage after the fact, I didn't get the results that I was looking for because we basically have the same results as on the IBIS R5 and it's way too wobbly. And that kind of brings me to my conclusion, and that is that I still prefer the Canon C70's footage because I can always stabilize it in post and get the same bad result as I did on the IBIS R5, but vice versa, I could never take that wobble out of the IBIS R5 and get a shaky footage if I wanted to. And I know that I've stressed this enough, so I'm stressing this again. This was an extreme test. So here's some clips that I use filming with the Canon C70 or the Canon C300 Mark III without any kind of IBIS. And when not walking on snow, I actually think that the results are really good. And again, if I'm not satisfied with the results that I'm getting out of my shaky footage, I can always put a little bit of post stabilization on it, and usually if I'm not in these extreme weather conditions, then the results are actually quite good. But with the IBIS R5, it does a lot of things I don't want to and I can't control, so sometimes it does look great, but a lot of the times it just ruins my footage with this wobble and I can't get rid of it after the fact. And at the end of the day, this is the same reason why I'm shooting in log profiles and flat profiles and I'm not letting the camera handle anything. I do my noise reduction in post, I also do my stabilization in post and my coloring in post, because I don't want the camera to do any of this and I want to have full control over it. And with the IBIS, it's pretty much the same, because on a C70 I don't have IBIS, and then I can just try to recreate that IBIS wobble if I want to, and I want to choose between smoother footage over shakier footage, but well, have to live with the IBIS wobble. But on the IBIS R5 I can never get rid of that wobble if it's already introduced in the footage. And again, I can control it. And I like to have full control over whatever I'm shooting. So if you ask my opinion on the upcoming IBIS R5C, I think it's a great choice of getting rid of that IBIS, because I've been shooting on cameras without IBIS for the longest time, and I had a lot of projects in the past where I just shoot handheld. And I can say that it's actually not that bad, and I prefer having no IBIS over something that I can't control that might just ruin my footage. What's your opinion? Let me know down in the comments below if you do need a camera that does have IBIS, or if you think that you can get the same or even better results with a camera that has no IBIS at all. And speaking of better results, about a year ago I uploaded a video how to shoot better handheld footage. And again, I love shooting handheld and I do it on a lot of my projects. So go watch this video if you're a fan of that style too, and maybe you change your opinion of needing IBIS at all. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, then please give it a thumbs up because it really helps the channel grow. Subscribe for more, and I hope to see you on the next one.